If you're lost by now as to where we are, me too. Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Hopefully exciting, certainly by the name. I will be going to the Forbidden City in Beijing, China's capital. This is China here in front of you, very big country, and this is Beijing here in front of you, very big city. Inside of Beijing, very much inside the inner circle road, at its very heart, lies this complex that is sort of separated by these canals going around it. This is the so-called Forbidden City. Here now a little bit of very boring history for you to have any idea what we are about to see. The Forbidden City is an imperial palace complex at the heart of Beijing. Commissioned in 1406 by the Yongle Emperor of the Ming Dynasty, it was first officially occupied by the court in 1420. It was so named because access to the area was barred to most of the subjects of the realm. Government functionaries and even the imperial family were permitted only limited access. The emperor alone could enter any section at will. The 178-acre or 72-hectare compound was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987 in recognition of its importance as the center of Chinese power for 5 centuries, as well as for its unparalleled architecture and its current role as the Palace Museum of Dynastic Art and History. The architecture of the walled complex adheres rigidly to the traditional Chinese geomantic practice of Feng Shui. The orientation of the Forbidden City, and for that matter all of Beijing, follows a north-south line. Within the compound, all the most important buildings, especially those along the main axis, face south to honor the sun. The buildings and the ceremonial spaces between them are arranged to convey an impression of great imperial power, while reinforcing the insignificance of the individual. And welcome back. So, basically, there is Google Street View here. Why? I am not sure. Interestingly enough, it is not where the Forbidden City is, but kind of next to it. That seems confusing, but it is often the case in China that the streets, by that I mean the lines that Google is drawing, are not matching with the satellite photos underneath. Also the symbols here, Hall of Supreme Harmony, Hall of Preserving Harmony, Palace Museum, Meridian Gate, they should be here to the left, where the Forbidden City actual is, but are misaligned. Why that is, I'd be very curious, but it is very common, if not always the case in China. So, without further talking about it, let's get into it. I assume it makes sense to start here at the bottom somewhere. Let's just go here. Oh, it's officially Google Street View. Okay, my bad. It wasn't just a tourist filming it. It was a Google person with a proper Google tripod. All right. I assume here is some sort of main entrance situation and we are already in. And we can more or less wander around freely. But I will be not able to tell you all the different things we see, so I hope there will be some information boards that we can also read. Meridian Gate. So this is one of the main entrance gates. Obviously more a building than a gate, or a very thick gate. Anyway, this is a porcupine-coloured area, the Forbidden City. Let's just say purple. And in the Chinese translation it has this color in its name as well. Not so much in the English version of just Forbidden City. Anyway, here are the 5 marble bridges. This is marble. We are standing on stone. Coming to the main, what I believe is the Palace Museum right here. I saw a beautiful image of that being lit up at night. Very, very nice. Scale-wise, massive, even though this is many, many centuries old. Very, very massive scale. So I can just assume that people walked so fast like he did here. having a kind of a ghost shadow. That's how quick he was walking. Absolutely rapid. Because it is a big area, so you do need to walk a lot. Alright. You see the lines on the side are very confusing. So I cannot necessarily promise a specific path. I'm just happy if I sort of get through. Alright, one floor up, we are overlooking the whole scenery. And we can not go through here, but we can go through here. An open door is always promising, and there we are through. Or are we at the same side again? No, it is a different side. It just looks very symmetrical, but there are not these marble bridges. Yeah, this is as Chinese looking as it gets, right? Nice glitch effect here. I'm not so sure what we are looking at. Maybe this is in fact the Palace Museum and not the building. I was just not this one here, where I guess much of the art, by that I assume, for example, plates and cutlery and cups and such things are displayed. Clothing perhaps would be such a thing, interesting to connect to this place. Because it being a touristic site, I think would be great to figure out based on the artifacts that are left behind from this area or still existing, would give an idea of how people lived here in terms of what they wore, what they did throughout the day, what they ate from, what they drank. These kind of everyday life things would interest me the most. Not so much, you know, the family structures of a dynasty or their political worldview. I just kind of assume it's a bit fucked up, but I also really don't know. Yeah, anyway, very beautiful. Can go all the way around here and here and through the next gate. Now this is, I would like to go through here actually. Can I though? Yes. Sometimes these lines are interrupted, it's a bit difficult. Massive structure, right? Looks like a maze or a labyrinth or somehow like walking on the lower grounds here is a bit spooky because you're constantly surrounded by buildings and these higher walls. And it's very, very empty as well. So I feel like observed or controlled, perhaps. And there's so much stuff, really. I mean, houses we can see. I don't know which is the house of the emperor. Maybe we will come across it. But I don't know what's in these places here. It looks like a stall for horses, if anything, really. But it also looks like it's just a facade. And this is also, the street view ends here. Imperial Hall used by emperors. Let's go and see this Imperial Hall. Might it be this one? Can we go any closer? Hall of Preserving Harmony. Well, I don't know why I just called the political system so harshly. They had a hall for preserving harmony. Something we would much need nowadays in many countries. But you can here also look outside. You see this, not the skyline of Beijing, but you see some high buildings there in the back. And just these beautiful structures. I'm actually not too sure why the Chinese had these kind of roofs, but I would assume it is decorative. It looks a little bit like a napkin or a tissue you just placed on top of the building, you know. I don't know if that's where the design comes from. Alright, we can go through here, long ramp, and it's this kind of building courtyard system. I mean, maybe that's for security reasons, or maybe it's just how one built cities really back in the days, you know. I mean, this is such a big compound that it really can be called a city. A temple maybe might be a word that seems more fitting as well, actually, but yeah. All right. Hall of Preserving Harmony. Nice benches, I have to admit. Look at all these figures, you know. It's like a guy on a horse here at the end and some, I don't know, frogs, I don't know. But incredible level to detail. It's just really fun to walk around here, you know, because you have these different levels. You have these very public representational stairs because they're low and big. So it's you can really, a kid could run them up and have a lot of fun. Some kind of fountain thing. Here, a map. Does the map tell us where we are? I'm not sure. There are cars, some lions. Yeah. And always these closed doors. We can peek through a little bit almost. So this was the end here. I kind of have to say that after having seen the first courtyard, not so much changed. You know, it looks repetition of the same. I thought maybe, you know, there comes a main emperor courtyard or, you know, just different qualities of buildings, but it really looks not so much, doesn't seem to be the case. If you're lost by now as to where we are, me too. But of course, I'm very, very thankful to Google Street View, having captured this in September 2019, because it's one of the few actually good working Street View sites from China we have outside of Baidu, China's own geographical service, and beyond that. I like these doors. It looks like a British telephone cell in a way, or like some, it looks a bit red and gold, reminds me of some suits the Beatles would wear, you know. Pointless association at this point. I guess a guard would sit there usually, yeah. Hall of Supreme Harmony, Central Harmony, Perceiving Harmony. So there's a lot of buildings dedicated to harmony, which is nice. Very thoughtful. Is this real gold here? It would be outrageous to assume that it's not. Oh, it's so cool that they had these, that they were so aware to like separate the garbage. I mean, this is, you know, 600, 700 years ago. Just shows you how advanced the civilization was back then, and at some point later on, in the very, very late medieval times, we have lost the garbage interest in separating, recycling the garbage properly. These houses on the side, I'm not sure. I mean, also maybe these there in the back that I guess are still part of the compound, they feel like they would belong to some servants. I know I said that emperors and members of the imperial royal family were allowed here, but they would have some servants, wouldn't they? I read on Wikipedia, I think, that eunuchs were allowed here, so castrated males. I don't know if they were the servants or if they were just sort of consultants to the imperial royal family, like it is in Game of Thrones. Okay, an old wagon left behind. Pretty sweet. I'm really going around rather randomly here. Perhaps there are things that we haven't explored yet. But, wow, this looks like graffiti in a way. Also not really, but it looks somehow, it looks modern, doesn't it? It's not so fine, not so small scale ornaments. Well, yeah, anyway, here we are closer to the entrance again, enjoying a view around. It is incredibly spectacular and it is incredibly unspectacular at the same time. I can only assume that when you're here in person, you actually see the scale of it, or maybe a certain atmosphere that just doesn't come across in this Google Maps footage yet. There's no trees or plants in here. That's something I noticed just peeking over the wall there and seeing some trees. Oh, this is cool. Look at this. I love this. Wish we could go through there. Oh, I love these kind of things. These constant... Oh, look at this. It's fun, no? I don't know what purpose it had. Oh, we can actually go through a little bit. Some kind of umbrella or something. Loads of marble here. But I think this concludes my phenomenological exploration of the place. I am curious now, at the end of this, how big it actually is. You have obviously Great Hall of the People, other very... wow, what's this? Other very, central structures in Beijing. Across the Forbidden City. Alright, so round about 1 kilometer long. Oopsie boopsie. And round about 850 meters wide. You could only access it through this bridge here, which, if these are people, many people seem to do, or from down here, which I guess seems more like the main entrance. So 1 kilometer long. If you walk just straight through it, you could do it in 10 minutes. So it is... I guess it's smaller than I thought it is, even though it looked very big. And you see just the sheer amount of buildings here. I mean, these are like villages or suburbs, basically, of that Forbidden City. You know, the central structures here. Here's maybe where servants or whoever lived. Maybe even they lived outside of these inner walls here. It's a very intricate system, obviously. Gate of Divine Prowess. Yeah, pretty cool. Also, there seems to be a bus. I mean, if this was moved to the left, is there a street or a bus going through or going underneath it? It being Beijing, you just never know, you know. But maybe the streets really don't add up the slightest. But then the bus line should go here. Well, anyway, thanks you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Chinese exploration this time. I would love to go more to China. If time comes, I will. Thanks and bye-bye.